Good morning, South Jersey. Welcome into the Locker Room, Sunday morning edition of the Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, right here on 97.3 ESPN. Good morning, PT.
Billy. Oh, Billy. This is a big putt. Hey, man, good to be back with you. I am sorry that I missed last week for my unavoidable, unscheduled absence, but you did a nice job with Merrill Reese last week.
Yeah, we had Merrill on.
And,
Josh Henning had to fill in for you, Henning. Josh works 8 days a week nowadays.
Yeah, he's the Beatles. I got to tell you that Merrill Reese is just a treasure, right? I mean, right. I know he just retired, but for me, there was a period of time where when you had Harry Callis, Merrill Reese, Mark Zumoff,
the Zoo,
right? So there you had, and then I guess Jim Jackson / Gene Hart, you had basically play-by-play royalty. Absolutely. In the city of Philadelphia. So I thought you did a nice job with that. Tip of the cap to me, since I set that one up for us. But tip of the cap to you today, sir, for the guests that we have on today.
Yeah, we got a big lineup today. We're going to talk Phillies baseball at the beginning of the show because the Phillies win again last night in convincing fashion. They do it the way we expect them to do it.
I enjoyed that.
That's how they're supposed to win these games.
Well, but I like that so much because it's 2021, right? So what do we really do? Do we actively watch the games, or are we kind of like half on our phone? We look up when the guy's going, oppo, popo, right? Somebody hit a home run. I guess I better look up, right? I mean, we don't give, because that's the world we live in, right?
Absolutely.
You're on your phone, you're checking something, you're checking a score, you're doing something, then you look up, right? So, yes, a 7-0 game is awesome, because it was stress-free. At no point did I think last night they're going to blow it.
And, of course, they picked up a game on the Atlanta Braves who lost to the Giants last night.
Fine.
But you know what's so cool, Pete?
Way to go, Gabe Kapler.
We're scoreboard watching still.
Yeah, you have to be, right?
We're scoreboard watching.
You have to be. Look, if you're going to argue that the Phillies control their own destiny, that's an argument you're not going to win with me. I mean, they control it only in the sense that they can't come out and bleep the bed every night. You know what I mean? And dude, that was the Diamondbacks. They're supposed to beat them 7-0.
Guess what? Prior to the last 2 nights, they hadn't beat them at all. I mean,
and that's the thing. When the entire storyline after the game is that Odubel Herrera doesn't understand that there's more than one stinking. That's something you would do. There's more than one Homer hat. Did you see that?
Yes.
Where he had the Homer hat on and back to back, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I got to take this hat off now." No, you moron! There's multiple hats. I think they bring 4 a game because there was a game. Was it Brad Miller or somebody that hit 3 home runs in a game?
He had 3 hats on,
and he had all 3 hats on the head at once. And they addressed the fact that if he had hit a 4th.
Now, Pete, we're gonna have to change on the fly here. Because I just got a text message from Rich Gannon.
Is the key word fly? I thought you were setting up our bet.
We got to change something on the fly.
All right, what's
Rich
time?
Gannon, who is scheduled for 11 o'clock, now needs to do it before 12 or before 11 or after 12.
Okay.
So we're going to have to maybe during the break move Tommy Green back to the 11 o'clock hour.
Okay.
If we can, we'll have to scurry and then get Rich on at 10:30. We'll start off with Eagles football. How about that?
All right. I think we could do that. You just have to call T to Green.
Yeah. I'll just
Hello, Tommy Green. How are you?
So, Pete, we got some big news. Ready?
Wait, that's it? That's your setup?
No. Well, you told me to say hit it.
Yeah, I know, but that was
well,
brutal,
hold on. But let me set it up.
Listen, this is how you should have set it up.
You do it then.
We have to do a change on the fly. And speaking of fly,
right.
We got some big news. PT, hit it. All right, now you start talking. That's enough right there. Notice this is the old school one with the full orchestra.
You did throw me off there with the old school one.
I don't want words. I want to hear what I heard when I was like 7 and 8 by an actual band in the one end of Veterans Stadium as I was freezing my patootie off, and those people were down there for probably no money, right?
Absolutely.
Down on the field in the corner. They would
At the vet, they had like the.
Do you remember they would play this live?
You know how the orchestra has those things in front of them? Like, you ever see Lawrence Welk?
Those things?
What do you call them?
Music stands.
No, they were right. They were white fake music stands, I guess. Right? Is that what they're called?
I would assume
there was no music on them, though.
No,
it was like a typical music stand where it's.
You're
like
talking about
things.
the right.
This is years and years ago. At the vet.
Okay, I understand more what you're talking about. Like when Count Basie and his orchestra and whatnot, it was a way to A, hide your legs.
Right.
B, hide your water bottle. Well, you didn't have water bottles back then, but you know what I'm saying. Anything you wanted to put back there. Your case.
Right.
An extra valve.
Right. So they had that. They were in the one corner. That's where they sat. They were a fixture there. And so now, Pete, for the reason why we're on the fly, we're going to be on the fly this football season. What?
Well, I just now that I put that on the fly thing in, oh my God, I'm going to hear that about 30 times this hour. All right, what are we doing? Tell the listeners and the viewers
super excited,
what
Pete.
we are doing.
We are going to be doing the pregame show, our Eagles pregame show at the Deauville Inn. I was going to say the Deauville again.
Listen, okay.
You do it, Pete.
So this morning,
I'm too excited.
This morning, I came up with a way because, just like a kindergartner, I got to teach you with song, right? Okay, so I'm going to teach you a way to never mispronounce the Deauville ever again. Doe and in the Deauville Inn, Ray. It's a place to watch the sun.
Watch the game.
Set. Me and you doing the pre-game show. We're going to have so much fun. Right? Okay, now, how do you say the name of the place?
The Deauville Inn.
Thank you.
All right.
The Inn.
I am super excited.
The Deauville Inn. You'll never forget it again.
We are super excited to announce that we're going to be doing the Eagles pregame show at the Deauville Inn. All the away games, Pete.
Yeah, and listen, the folks at the Deauville have been really, really good to us. Chuck Thompson, my brother from another mother, my man JR,
Sean,
all those guys.
John,
Jeffs.
Brian Green,
yep, throw them all in. Don't forget Amber, she's the color of our energy, right? She was out there too. I mean, listen, that entire staff is fantastic.
But the place is a great place to watch a game. They got big TVs there's not a seat in the house where you can't see the game close up.
Ask anybody down here, and they will tell you that the best month is what we call locals summer, right?
Right.
And what is local summer?
All of September.
All of September, baby. Meet me in September at the Deauville.
So we'll be doing the
Billy and I, don't interrupt my song, are gonna be there.
Didn't you tell me no singing today?
Yeah, but no singing by you, dude. No offense, but you stink. I'm good.
Pete, I had a lead in the senior play. And I had a singing part, Pete.
Well, that's how dumb you are. A play is only speaking.
That's not. It's a musical.
Oh, there we go.
A musical. I'm sorry.
Right. I mean, why don't you just identify
because it's called the senior play, which is actually a musical.
Well, then that's dumb.
Okay.
Because a musical is a musical and a play is a play.
They call it the senior play, and it's a musical.
Didn't you have
No, Nanette was the one I played in.
No, Nanette?
No, Nanette was the first one.
No, Nanette.
And the second one was Wish You Were Here.
Okay, that one I think I've heard of. I mean, why don't you do any of the classics?
I was Muscles Green in that production.
I was Mr. Sharovsky in Fame. In fact, I remember my one line. Okay, students, now join us as we listen to Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik. And I had to read the German. I'm like, excuse me, line, how the hell do I say this? And then I was also Arab in West Side Story. And that was one of my funniest stories ever because, Billy, you were an athlete, right? I talk about athletes, okay? So you played football. I talked about football, right? There's a big difference between the two of us. I make fun of you, but the reality is you're an athlete and I talk about athletes, okay? But in West Side Story, my senior year of high school, they didn't think they were going to be able to put the thing on because, how are they going to be able to put it on if they didn't have enough guys? You need guys to do West Side Story. The girl that wanted to play Maria desperately was dating the starting quarterback at a football team. So she told him, you better get your ass down to the auditorium and bring some guys with you or else, you and I are through. Okay. Or, basically what the ultimatum was. So here there are like 5 or 6 of us standing around his piano for tryouts. And I'm thinking, like, we're never going to be able to do this. There's no guys. And the back doors, it was like out of a movie. The back doors of the auditorium open.
And here comes the football team.
Here comes the football team. Now, there's one thing that I also remember. A, we were able to do the show. But B, the director several times in rehearsals had to tell the football team, guys, this is acting. Please stop beating the crap out of the band guys and the music guys. I mean, this was like jocks and nerds. They were like, whoa, punch, punch, punch. And I'm like, hey, man, this is supposed to be acting. So you're killing me.
Pete, my story is similar. I got recruited to play a part. My junior year, I was in No Nanette with just a background part.
Oh, so the second word is known.
No Nanette.
Okay, I can't. You're
No,
speaking
Nanette.
like
I'm
Collins
clear.
Woodies.
I'm clear as day.
No
Nanette.
Okay, so no, like a no-hitter.
That's right, like a no.
Okay, and then who the hell is Nanette?
It's a girl's name.
Okay.
All right, so that was my junior. My senior year, I got recruited by the band leader, who was Mr. Tamburino at the time, and he was also the guy who was in charge of the musical, and he recruited me to this one lead called Muscles Green.
Oh, now that's the one you probably like the most. Because,
well, I had a singing part, and I had a.
Oh my God, you sang? Is there video of this
I am
somewhere?
a good singer, Pete.
Dude, you're terrible.
I am not. You have an ear at 10, not me.
You're terrible.
No, I disagree. We're just
you
like
sound like you're singing through like broken glass and whiskey and pools and parliaments.
I sound like Sting.
Everybody has delusions of grandeur. Listen.
Anyway, listen. So I finish. I get the part. I had to try out for the part, but I think it was a foregone conclusion that it was mine. I get the part because of my singing prowess, and then,
right.
And then to come to find out, there's a kissing scene.
Oh my God!
And it was with Janet Catlin.
Whoa, this is getting better and better.
It was a very attractive.
How old are you at this point?
I was a senior in high school.
So you're 17, 18.
No, I was 18 in my senior.
Okay, so you'd kissed a girl, obviously.
Come on, Pete.
Right. In fact, they probably had to tell you to tone it down, right?
Probably.
Billy. Billy, no tongue. It's a stage kiss. Billy, no tongue.
I kept doing? I kept getting my lines wrong in that particular scene, so I had to do it all over again.
Oh, that's funny. Like, wasn't that Sandlot where he pretends like he's drowning so the lifeguard will jump in and save him?
All right, listen, we're gonna change on the fly. We're gonna do Rich Gannon at 10:30.
Well, I'm efforting that while you're telling stories about Judy Perschetti or whatever the girl's name was.
We got to talk to Tommy Green and see if we can get him to do him at 11 o'clock and do our Phillies talk.
By the way, what's the name of the establishment again?
It's the Deauville Inn.
That's it. The Deauville Inn. It's in your head.
So we will be there for every away game from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. You got to come down. We're going to do all kind of stuff. We're going to have giveaways. There are going to be specials down there. We're really excited about it. Every away game at the Deauville Inn.
I'm sorry. The first week of the season, are the Eagles on the road?
Yes, they are.
That's correct.
September 12th.
So September 12th, baby. That's coming fast, man. We are going to be there. We're going to do our thing live at the Deauville. We want
everybody to come down to the Deauville Inn and check us out. 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Every Sunday that there's an away game, we're going to be at the Deauville Inn. Pete Thompson, Billy Schweim, former Eagles tight end Ken Dunnick will be a part of the show. So I'm really excited, Pete.
Me too, man. And I'm really happy that they're coming on board, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, look, the only negative is I got to hang out with you a little longer. But, listen to you lie about your singing abilities.
All right, the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that will help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you. With 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA, that's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. All right, when we get back, we'll talk a little Eagles football. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, 97.3 ESPN. Pete, a lot of news came out of the Eagles camp yesterday while we were on the air. Breaking news, the Eagles acquire Gardner Minshew from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you.
That's what his last name reminds me of. When you say Minshew, it sounds like you're
trying to be serious over here.
Me? Serious? Give me a break.
Anyway, for conditionals, it's a 6th-round conditional 5th-round pick if he plays 50% of snaps in only 3 games. But what's this saying for Joe Flacco, backup quarterback? Remember, they have to get down to their 53-man roster by Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Are they going to carry 3 quarterbacks?
I believe so, yes. And by the way, thank God for Colton. I know that, when you're in here, you're hosting the show, right? McKay's in here teeing up his next one-liner to knock you down a peg, okay? So thank God for Colton, who obviously the young buck understands, like, all right, they're over there talking. I'm going to keep sort of refreshing Twitter and see what's going on. And yes, that trade did happen while you guys were on the air. And this is the way I look at it, okay? There's 3.5 million reasons why the Eagles would keep Joe Flacco around. That's his guaranteed salary, okay? So the other thing is, if you're going to talk salary, I mean, you do balance age, right? Like Minshew is only 25 years old. Minshew's up and coming. He's under contract. He's got only a measly 1.01 million next year. He's, look, there's a whole bunch of upside.
And keep in mind, it's a 17-game schedule this year.
Yeah, I just think, what the biggest thing is, to be honest with you, Bill? To me, it's not even athletic ability. It's not even stats. It's not even numbers. It's not even age, and it's not even money. The number one driving reason that I think that Joe Flacco will still be on this football team is because of COVID.
Well,
you have no idea,
right? And that's maybe why they did it. Because COVID's still, a factor. And there's a couple players that have COVID now for, I think, the Patriots.
It's clearly not a perfect system yet. You know what I mean? Look what happened to the Phillies the other day. They had some people that had to sit unexpectedly, including Andrew Knapp. I mean, we are not at a point yet where you can just sit there and go, okay, good. I got my roster. I'm good. All right. I know what we're doing, And so to me, like, now, if the question you were going to ask me was, could Gardner Minshew vault over Joe Flacco? Absolutely. 100%.
Could he compete for the starting job? Think about it. Nick Sirianni, what's his mantra? Competition.
Right. Well, yes. Could he compete for it? Yes. Will he be handed it? No. But I do think
they still haven't named Jalen Hurts the starter.
For a reason. Both optics and the fact that would go against Nick Sirianni's message, which is he's basically trying to get his players to buy in that it doesn't matter if you're the former number 1 pick overall and you've played in this league a bunch of times, or if you just came in as an undrafted free agent. Everybody competes and everybody has a chance. And, look.
So let's just hope that that Jalen Hurts has a thicker skin than one Carson Wentz, who didn't like the pressure from behind.
Carson Wentz didn't like the pressure from behind. He didn't like the pressure from the media. I don't think Carson Wentz ever fully felt comfortable. It's the one thing that I will go on the record and on the radio as saying that I was completely wrong about when they drafted Carson Wentz. In fact, I'm wearing my Nebraska gear today. I told Mike Gill and anybody that would listen that this is a guy that played football in a place where it's so cold in the wintertime, there's a damn plug coming out of your car because you got to heat the engine block up so it doesn't freeze, right? So I was like, this guy's played football in the dirt, and this guy's, rough and tough, and he's humble, and he's going to be great. He's going to be the Eagles franchise QB. Boy, I couldn't have been more wrong. See, what happened was Carson Wentz was elevated like he was Elvis or a GD Beetle, right? And then he began to believe his hype, so much so that at some point Carson Wentz just went off of what Doug Peterson was doing and said, screw you, coach. I'm going to do my own play.
And Pete, what is it with the Eagles? Why is there always a controversy with quarterbacks? It's been going on for some time now.
Well, why is there always a controversy?
The last thing we need in Philadelphia.
That's an easy answer. Let me address that. Number one, there's always a controversy because they haven't had a franchise quarterback, right? Or we've
had a franchise quarterback.
Okay. Who?
Carson Wentz.
No, he was anointed the franchise quarterback. And the Super Bowl season, he was playing like a franchise quarterback until he got hurt.
Right.
Okay, let's not forget that.
But my point is,
it's no different than the goalie, Billy, in hockey, right? The Flyers goalie. The every time, no matter who the Flyers goalie is, right, they sit there and go, oh, we got to pull the goalie. We got to have somebody else in there, right? That's been going on since Ron Hextall stopped playing, right? Every other guy, that's the same way with the Eagles quarterback. Think about it. There's no athletic position in the city of Philadelphia, no pro athletic position that is more focused on than the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Absolutely.
Goalie of the hockey team, not even close.
Well, that's the position Bryce Harper, through the NFL.
Bryce Harper, the star of the baseball team, not even close.
No.
Like, Bryce Harper's a big star in baseball, but he doesn't move the needle
not at all
the whole way but the quarterback of the team does.
My point is, and look, you made a good point about the COVID. They have 17 games. We're dealing with COVID still. Having 3 quarterbacks on the roster makes sense.
100%.
But it's just the optics. Like, I just hope Jalen Hurts can handle it better than Carson Wentz did.
So, I mean, look, all the clues and all the indications are that Jalen Hurts seems to be able to handle the pressure, if you will, to me, I think, look, there's one thing that I think is the difference. I think that all that outside stuff, I think, that's a factor.
Right.
But at the end of the day, how do you throw the ball? Can you get it there quick enough so that your guy, can you put it in the place where your guy has a chance and the corner doesn't? Can you throw it far enough down the field, and chuck it far enough down the field where your guy can run under it, but the corner is a step behind? All those things, athletic ability weighs more to me than being in the Philadelphia bubble.
Well, we're going to get a chance to talk with Rich Gannon after the break, and we're going to ask him questions about this. Very, not, I wouldn't say puzzling move, but, very, very, I don't know.
What about Minshew?
Give me an adjective to describe this.
Surprising.
Surprising.
I mean, because here's the thing. Number one, you didn't think they were going to stick with Nick Mullins, but the surprise is you didn't know you were going to get this prize in the Cracker Jack box.
Right.
That was a guy that's, he's done it in the NFL. This isn't a project. This guy's done it.
No, he started games. All right. The first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shortest center city and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan or the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi, Maserati, the mainline, at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll talk with Rich Gannon. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, 97.3 ESPN. All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. Hey, Pete, with all that's going on with the Eagles getting Gardner Minshew and the quarterback situation, I mean, Tom Brady played last night like almost the whole first half, and we didn't see any of Jalen Hurts.
Oh, that's driving you crazy.
It's driving me nuts. So I go to the
that's
guy.
About like the third time you said that.
I go to the one guy that I trust. He's the 2002 MVP of the NFL. He's an analyst for CBS Sports Network. He's calling the 49ers-Raiders game with Beth Mowins and Matt Miller tonight. Let's go to the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline and welcome in my good friend to the locker room, Rich Gannon. Good morning, Rich.
Hey, Billy, Pete, good to be with you guys. Hey, look, I know it's frustrating for a lot of NFL fans and even for some players, not to be able to play in some of these preseason games. You go back to years past when we had 4 of them, and that first preseason game, we'd play a quarter, the veterans would. The second game, you'd get a little bit more, maybe a quarter and a half. Third game, you'd play the whole first half and sometimes start the third quarter. And then the last game, it was just really for the guys trying to make the team, the rookies and first-year players. But now what these teams are doing is they're using joint practices. That's a big way to get your team ready. So they're controlled practices. There's no tackling. You're not hitting the quarterback. They get together. It's like a scrimmage. And that's what the NFL coaches, a lot of them are doing to get their teams physically ready for the NFL season. And they feel that's a safer way to do it. And I'm doing a game tonight here in Santa Clara with the Raiders and Niners. And John Gruden told me that he left 30 players behind in Las Vegas. They left 30 players behind. Derek Carr didn't even make the trip. So most of the starters didn't even travel. And some coaches are even going to that extent. And keep in mind, they've got 2 weeks before their first game. So it's just a different approach in the preseason now than it was, say, even 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, but Rich, when you see the Super Bowl champion go to the league, Tom Brady playing the whole first half of a preseason game.
And Mahomes, right?
Right, and Mahomes and even Kyler Murray. You see a lot of these guys. I mean, Tom Brady played the whole first half practically, and we didn't even get to see Jalen Hurts but once.
Well, here's my preference. And again, if you talk to guys like Mahomes and Brady, and even the veteran players, they want to play. I mean, here's my concern. You get into a regular season game in September in Philadelphia, and it's 90 degrees, and you got to play 70 plays. I worry about the conditioning. I mean, if you haven't played in these preseason games, I have some concerns, especially if you're a skill player, wide receiver, running back, tight end, defensive back, and all of a sudden you get into a game now, it goes into overtime or something, and you got to play. You got to play 70, 80 snaps. That's going to be a problem. And that's my concern. That's why I wanted to play. I always felt like I could protect myself. I could be smart. I could get rid of the football. Right. I could not take unnecessary hits. But again, it's a different coaching staff. Some of these young coaches now, that haven't done it. You got a rookie first-year head coach in Philadelphia, Nick Sirianni. He hasn't done it. Now he's been around Frank Reich. He's watched him coach other players. But when you have that whistle around your neck and you have that hat on, you're the head coach. You've got to make those decisions. Some guys will defer to being cautious rather than being aggressive in the preseason.
We're talking with Rich Gannon, NFL analyst for CBS Sports. Of course, the 17-year career quarterback MVP of the league in 2002. Rich, I mean, you talk about these joint practices. That's great and all, but the quarterbacks still wear the red shirt. And even though the game situation prepares you so much better than practice. Look, I didn't play on the level that you did. I played high school and college quarterback in college, and there's nothing like real speed.
No, you're right. I mean, there's nothing you can do in a practice type of situation or even in a scrimmage where you can assimilate the speed and the physicalness of a regular season game. In fact, if you take a preseason game and then you go from a preseason game to a regular season game, it's very different. I mean, you're not going against, first of all, and part of the problem is in preseason, guys, is that you're seeing, people overreact to what they see in preseason. So we're evaluating these rookie quarterbacks, right? And you look around at some of the rookie quarterbacks that are playing, Trevor Lawrence down there in Jacksonville, and you look at a couple of these different guys, and people say, "Oh my gosh, he's looked great. He had a great night." And you say, "Well, yeah, but they're facing two fronts, two coverages. Yeah. They're not blitzing, and all the players they're playing against aren't going to make the roster." they're playing against a bunch of rookies and first-year guys. And so, I mean, that's not a real good, in my opinion, that's not a real good sample of what you're going to get in the regular season. The J.J. Watts and all these type players aren't playing. They're not rushing you in the preseason. So, you're not getting everybody's best in the preseason, and that's why a lot of these coaches opt out with some of their starters. They get them the work they think they need. They have their own plan in terms of how many reps. They have all the GPS now with the technology. They can chart how many plays and how many reps these guys have gotten in the preseason and the practices and stuff. But to my opinion, it's very different, and that's why sometimes now the first couple games of the season are like preseason games. That's what Belichick always says. Belichick says, "Hey, look, the first couple games of the season are sloppy. You see a lot of penalties. Special teams are a mess because these players haven't had a chance to cover kicks, and now all of a sudden, like, you're putting it all together, and you haven't had the reps. Repetition is the mother of learning. The more you do it over and over again, that's why it's really important. When you've got a young quarterback, to get him with the offensive line, to get him with the backs, to get him with the receivers and the tight ends, and so they can develop some chemistry, some history together.
Yes.
And that's really important, especially when you're bringing along a young quarterback."
Hey, Rich, it's Pete Thompson, and since you're old school and I'm kind of old school, I mean, just to quickly put a bow on that practice time, like Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice, not a game, right? But just I know some of the Eagles veterans that would attend training camp this year couldn't believe how fast they were, too. I mean, these were not 2.5, 3 hour practices. I mean, it was like on the field, off the field.
Minutes.
Wait, what just happened there? But what I wanted to ask you more about, Rich, not the speed or the timing of the practice, since I think we've hit that a lot. I do want to ask you about then the dynamic of the room now, since you've been both guys. What are your impressions? Let me fold two into one question. What are your impressions of Gardner Minshew coming over to the Eagles? That's the first half. And then the second half, if you're Joe Flacco, are you worried for your job? And how do you think that's all going to shake out?
Yeah, I don't think it bodes well for Flacco. I mean, there's a reason why they made this move. And, I think they got younger there. I can't imagine they would carry three quarterbacks, one of them being the elder statesman, Joe Flacco. If I'm Joe Flacco right now, I'm calling my agent. I'm thinking to myself, hey, how does this impact me, and what are my options? I think Flacco's the type of guy. He's a veteran guy. He's a good guy. He fits into the room. I think he could find another spot because there's teams out there that are really desperate for quarterbacks. You look at the Rams behind Matthew Stafford. They need help. There's some teams
Falcons.
out there just simply. Yeah, Atlanta. I know for a fact Atlanta has made some phone calls. I know that as a fact. Atlanta has called around the league, inquiring about some backup quarterbacks. In fact, the Raiders have three quarterbacks. They've got Derek Carr, they got Marcus Mariota, and the kid that's really played well. In fact, he's taken every snap of the preseason is Nathan Peterman. He's got a chance, I think, to be a decent little player in this league. He got off to a really rocky start early in his career in Buffalo, but he's been in John Gruden's system now for 3 years. He's going to start and play the whole game tonight. But my point is that Gardner Minshew is a competitive guy. I don't think he was happy with the fact that he didn't really get a chance to compete for the job down there in Jacksonville. I think he's probably pretty sour about the whole thing. I just think Urban Meyer felt like, this probably isn't going to be a real good situation for developing my young quarterback. So let's get him out of here and we'll figure something else out. That's probably what's happened there. They need help at the quarterback position, I think, behind. Look, the chances of a rookie quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, with that offensive line, with the skill players that they have, with how bad their defense is, him lasting and playing all 17 games isn't very good. He's going to get knocked around. And so they need to have some depth there. And I think there's going to be some movement there. I think Gardner Minshew is a guy that can come in a moment's notice and give you a little bit of juice. He can move around. He can make some plays. He can rally. He doesn't need a ton of reps. Is he a long-term answer at quarterback? Does he have some physical limitations? Is his arm strength what you want? No. But, I think the Eagles saw an opportunity. They didn't give up much to get him. I just think they felt like it was a good move at the right time.
We're talking with Rich Gannon. He's the NFL analyst for CBS Sports Network, 17-year career quarterback, MVP. Rich, let's talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts. I know you got to go real quick, but let's talk couple more questions about Jalen Hurts. What is the scuttlebutt around the league? What have you heard? And of course, from what you've seen, Give us your opinion on Jalen Hurts as the starting quarterback. By the way, he hasn't been named the starting quarterback, but we all know he's the starting quarterback.
Yeah, you know what, Billy? I think the fact that he played some games last year is going to really help him. I mean, even those 3 or 4 games he played at the end of the year, getting some reps under your belt, going through a normal week as a starter, answering the media's questions, taking in a full game plan, I think is really helpful. I think that was probably helpful for the new coaching staff that came in to be able to look at, his body of work in 4 games, see where he's at, and to say, hey, look, this is what he does well, this is what he doesn't do well. I mean, the accuracy, the anticipation, some of that stuff has to improve. I mean, I think last year he was around 52%. That's just not going to get it done in today's NFL. You've got to be up around 65%. So we know areas of his game where he can get better, but he's a dynamic, explosive guy. He can create. He's a winner. You look at his success that he had at Alabama, at Oklahoma. I think there's some upside there, but a lot of times we see a lot of improvement with a young quarterback from year 1 to year 2. That's where we see a lot of the growth. Had a chance to play a little bit last year, get his feet wet. Now he's had a whole off season to really work on some weaknesses in his game. Here's the challenge, though, and here's the concern that I would have. We see this too often in the NFL. You get a young quarterback who comes in, who learns the system. No sooner does he start learning the system, getting comfortable, and all of a sudden we pull the rug out from under him and we change systems. You know what I mean? We get a new coach. You got a whole new system, and now all of a sudden you say to yourself, "Man, this guy, he's struggling. He's got to learn that system, and the way you learn it is to do it over and over again." And when you have history in a system, and something happens, problem arises, you quickly know how to fix it and address it. And he hasn't had that. You look at Brady or someone like Breeze or Aaron Rodgers. When there's a problem, they've been in that system their whole lives, man, they know exactly what to do. They know exactly how to fix the problem. He's not going to be in that situation this year because everything's new to him.
Rich, what do you think real quick? I mean, do you think the Eagles, obviously they went 4-11-1 last year. They've improved their defense tremendously. I like their weapons on offense with Devontae Smith, and hopefully if Rigger can have a better year than he had last year. What do you think?
And the tight ends.
And the tight ends. We got, of course, Ertz and Goddard. So with a healthy offensive line, I mean, this offense should be able to put up some points.
They should. They've got some firepower there. I think you look at the other thing he's going to benefit from is the fact they've got a pretty good offensive line. You got a veteran center, one of the better ones in football, in Kelsey. You've got 2 good tackles, Dillard and Johnson. A veteran presence up front, which should help a young quarterback. And I think if they can run the ball, which is going to be really important, play action, move the pocket a little bit, something I think Hurts is really good at. I think all that should benefit him. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a learning process for this football team. I think it's going to be, I think this is a team that you're going to see that is much more competitive in the second half of the season.
Well, Rich, I really appreciate you're out there calling the game tonight. The Raiders and 49ers. Of course, they've got a quarterback situation out there with Trey Lance pushing Garoppolo. That'll be pretty interesting tonight to watch. Rich, I wish we had more time in the summer to hang out, but as always, the summer goes flying by.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate a few minutes this morning. You guys are the best.
All right, there he is, Rich Gannon on the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline calling the game tonight, Pete.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I told you asked me in the break before we came on, have you ever met Rich? And I said, no, I was walking in the Anchorage one time as he was walking out. And I remember that people were all staring at him as he walked out. And then people were like, hey, Pete Thompson, when I walked in. So
very accessible.
Yeah.
Look, I sit on the beach with him from time to time on our beach. And listen, he's just a regular guy. Man, went to St. Joe's. He's from the area.
Don't forget. Now, see, I thought the most
Delaware.
Yeah, but you notice that without doing so, he didn't throw his fellow Delaware alum, Joe Flacco, under the bus. He more spun it of, if I was Joe Flacco, I'd be on the phone with my agent like, yo, what the heck, man?
How about this question, Pete, for you? Do you think Nick Sirianni called Jalen Hurts and said, Jalen, I want to tell you before you hear it on the news, we're trading for Gardner Minshew?
Do I think that happened? No, I don't think that did happen, to be honest with you.
So if you're Jalen Hurts,
yeah,
and you're sitting there watching Action News,
it's no. I
or
mean,
Fox 29 News.
Well, that's not the question. You asked, did Nick Sirianni call him?
Right.
I'm going to say no. I think that maybe the position coach called him, the quarterback's coach, or
you don't
maybe,
think Howie Roseman would pick up the phone and call him?
I don't know. I'm not in that room. This is what I can
then what
say.
do you think is appropriate? What do you think should have been done?
Okay, there you go. Now, I always think that you should give your guy a heads up.
You just said to me, honesty is the best policy. Right?
Yes, 100%. But I don't think it happens that way. For example, when Doug Peterson was here, infamously, they didn't give Carson Wentz any heads up of what they were doing, right?
Exactly.
And that hurt his feelings, right? It's a business. It's a business. It's not like
it is a business, but these guys are still human beings, Pete.
I get it, but you asked me the question, do I think? And my answer is no. I do not think the head coach of the football team called the quarterback and said, hey, we got a chance to get so-and-so. Do I think that maybe of the quarterback coach reached out and said something, or maybe Howie reached out and said something? Yes, but the head football coach of the football team has so many things on his plate. I can't imagine that the first thing he's thinking of, first of all, you got to think how the dynamic works too. The head coach didn't know they were getting him until Howie called him and said, you're getting him. And then this is the thing. In today's media world, that thing is, Schefter tweets that out so fast yesterday, right? And then it goes viral. It goes everywhere. They may not even have the time. Who knows where Nick Sirianni was at that point? Perhaps he was in, a church service. Perhaps he was in a restaurant.
So you don't think that he was part of the? Don't you think that he was part of the process of saying? Do you think Howie would bring this whole staff in?
I don't know the answer to that. Do I think he was? Yes. But do I think he was like the decider? No. I think maybe they say, hey, we got a chance to get this guy. What do you think? And he probably endorsed it and said, yes, absolutely. But then I'm sure that they didn't say, oh, and by the way, Nick, we know you're only 40 years old or whatever. Make sure you remember to call. Make sure you remember to call Jalen so his feelings aren't hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
well, how I feel about this. Joe Flacco should have been on my show, and this probably wouldn't happen to him.
Oh man, one Delaware guy to another Delaware guy. I've been saying, I
was at my daughter's graduation.
Yeah.
His son is in my daughter's class.
I'm fascinated.
And he would come on my show.
But we did we did get him eventually. Listen, I'm fascinated.
You got him in an interview with the golf.
I'm fascinated by how this is going to play out, because to me, I think the money and his veteran experience is a reason why they're going to keep him. And I said also the pandemic, right? Just dollars to donuts. If the pandemic forces a player like Jalen Hurts or Gardner Minshew and they can't practice for the week, right?
Right.
And they have to quarantine for 10 days,
right,
then you need a third quarterback to just do the reps, just to move the football team in practice. I think
that's the more obvious scenario. They need 3 quarterbacks in a pandemic world, and in a 17-game schedule, you're going to need 3 quarterbacks.
That's the way I see it. But, we'll see what happens and how it plays out, And here's the thing. We're taking this
Flacco still should have been on my show.
We're taking this all from the vantage of what are the Eagles going to do? What's Joe Flacco going to do? He may communicate to them like, hey, guys, this wasn't what I signed up for.
Well, that's what Rich just said.
Out of here,
hey, look, he might know. All right, the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts to help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you. 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA at Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to Ken at jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap up the first hour. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, 97.3 ESPN. All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, 97.3 ESPN. Hey, Pete, we got a couple text messages coming in.
Absolutely. That was fun to have Rich Gannon on. And, of course, we're talking football and talking Eagles. And Dan from EHT says, Howie calls the Eagles a QB factory. The problem I have with that statement is the QBs he brings in are okay talents. The factory needs to be fixed. Heck yeah, Dan, from your lips to God's ears. Listen, there's certain quotes, Billy, and you know this, that they've made that just are going to, like, stick in their craw forever.
It's like
the gold standard quarterback factory. I mean, just dumb. You want to talk baseball next hour?
That's as good as for who, for what?
For who? For what? You want to talk baseball next hour?
Yeah, we're going to talk. Well, yeah, I think we'll talk a little NFL too. We'll split the next hour, but we'll open up with Tommy Green.
Hello, Tommy. Yeah, he's the best. I can't wait to ask him.
The Phillies win last night, and I'd like to hear what Tommy Green has to say. As always, he's a great friend of the show. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Welcome back into the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. PT. What do we get? PT. We got.
I'm stunned. You actually waited for my cue.
Well, no,
Usually, you just start talking.
No,
I was like,
I thought you were going to go right into what I wanted you to go into.
oh, I forgot what we had.
How
I'm
did you
sorry.
forget this?
Well, because you're the host, and at the top of the hour, it's Radio 101. They really should hear your voice first. But I forgot. You're right. Hey, I have a short attention span. This is what you wanted to hear. I apologize.
I'll tell you what, Pete, that never gets old. He's
not for me, not for him.
One of the good guys. We saw him this summer at the Greedy after one of our broadcasts, the lifeguard races. Of course, we're still talking Phillies baseball, and it's August 29th.
Wow, I love seeing these faces in here, too. Dale Murphy,
right?
Pat Combs, Vaughn Hayes was in there, you know.
So let's go to the Barb's Harley Davidson Sports Highlight and welcome into the locker room a good friend of the show, Tommy Green. What's up, T. Green?
Hey, pal. How you doing?
You know what, Tommy? I told
summer.
Tommy, I told Pete, I said, as soon as we go into the show song, I want to go right into the Tommy Green no-hitter and then bring him up, and he screwed that up.
No, I'll give him a break. You know, he was just pinch hitting for a little bit. You know? It's a new day.
I would argue, Tommy, that I produced it better. That was my job with you at CSN, right? You know, to make last-minute changes on the fly. I thought it was brilliant.
A game of adjustments. That's what we do, man.
Yeah, baseball. And of course, Tommy, I've had you on numerous times. I've played that several. I can't get enough of that. It never gets old.
No, I tell you, I mean, it makes you feel young when you hear it because we definitely are getting older. That's for definite.
Hey, Tina Green, what do you make of this Philadelphia Phillies team? They got at the beginning of August when I saw you earlier in the year. The Phillies were on an 8-game win streak. They were 2 games up. We thought, hey, man, maybe we got something here. Only to have our hearts ripped out. It's the dog days of summer right now.
Well, I tell you, I mean, that's why they call it the dog days of summer. I mean, I was just looking back at the month of August, and overall they got a winning record. You know, they're right now 14-11 for the month, but they started out the month so great. You know, they were like what it was. I come up with the last 2 weeks they've been like 4-8, and before then they were like 10-3. They start the 2 weeks right there. So I mean, they started out and gave us a lot of hope right there, and then they turned back to the team that. You know, that sort of where they're at and why they're there. There's a lot of different things that contribute to that, you know, defense and, you know, pitching, blown saves and, you know, and not timely hitting and, you know, just getting in the ruts when they don't score runs for a week, you know, and you can't afford to do that when you're trying to win the NL East against a Braves team that is hot.
Yeah, they are extremely hot. You know, Tommy, this team, they mess with your heart. Like I said, you know, you're talking baseball. You know, it's still late in the summer. It's late in the summer. We're still talking baseball. That's fun, but it's the way they win. They win and they lose. They win. It's frustrating as a player. They know it's getting late that they need to put something together. What I guess this is when your leaders step up.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I mean, you want to go about your business like you do every day to try to work and be consistent at what you do. And that's something that, you know, they've strived to do all year, but they just hadn't seemed to piece it together. Now they got a certain number of games left. And I mean, it's very possible that they can go on. I mean, they can run that a week. They've been on the streak where they've won that 8 games and been on the streak where they've been a couple of weeks where they need that. They need that consistency to come together at the right time to give them that push at the end because they're 4.5 out. You know, it's a very good possibility that they can pull this off if they get hot because it's been done to the Phillies in the past. Just look at the Cardinals back the last time they were in the playoffs. They come back in, the Cardinals come in and bum rushed them there at the end because they got hot with the pitching got hot and they played good D and that's what it's about. So, we just got to get it done. It was good seeing a ball game last night where there really wasn't a lot of high stress late in the game. It was good to see it happen. A very good job by Gibson pitching. What I saw of it, and he's been to me a pleasant, a good surprise and a good pickup right now. Has given him some quality innings.
Tommy Green's our guest, and Kyle Gibson, 6 innings last night, 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, 99 pitches, 66 of them for strikes. He's been really one of the godsends of that starting rotation. But the guy that hasn't been so great, Tommy, is the guy I want to ask you about, and that's Aaron Nola. And listen, you've been a starting pitcher. I don't remember if you were ever the ace starting pitcher or the opening day pitcher, but you've been in that position. And so as the former pitcher, when you look at Aaron Nola, are you just scratching your head like, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
No, I don't scratch my head. I mean, you go through times, where you're trying to figure things out. You get in ruts. Sometimes the gray matter between your ears kind of get in the way a little bit. But overall, with him, sort of the last time he pitched, he started out, and the key to him is fastball command. When he's commanding that fastball, it makes everything else better. And because he's been hurt a lot on fastballs that's gotten over the zone a little bit, and he just hadn't been lucky. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good all the time, because we're not going to be perfect out there. And it's just like golf. I explain, people ask me now, it's just like golf. It's all about your misses.
That's
Where
right.
are your misses at? Are you missing in play? Or are you giving yourself a possibility, to run a ball up there? And are you missing off the plate, or are you missing over the plate? Type of thing. You're missing in quality errors, and it comes down to consistency part. And he just has had a little bit of issue with that this year. And the stuff's there, the breaking ball there, the changeup's there, the velocity with his fastball's there, the movement's there. Sometimes I think he gets a little flat, but he's got the type of mechanics he's got to stay on top of. He's got to keep it in check a little bit, because he can get in a little bit of a funk maybe. That's just my point of view of it. But you look at what's going on with the staff in general. I compare. I look back. I didn't expect the Giants to be where they're at.
Yeah, unbelievable
this year. Why are they there? You look at their pitching staff is first in baseball in giving up walks. They don't give up any, and and the ERA, they're second in baseball in ERA behind the Dodgers.
Yep.
As far as pitching is concerned. So. Oh, and what does that tell you a little bit? Obviously they catch the ball too. They don't have a ton. Like we lead baseball, in blown saves.
Oh yeah.
So those things that you cannot afford to do that down this stretch right here. You've got to capitalize on every mistake, and you got to catch everything that you can get your glove on.
Yep.
And make it happen. So,
while you were answering that, I thought of how they blew that game in San Diego that Nola actually was unbelievably good in, and they weren't able to do it. And Jankowski damn near leaped into the stands to try and keep the home run ball from going over there. Tommy Green's with us here on the Locker Room on the Barb Starley Davidson hotline. Tommy, I've got a friend of mine that pitches in a men's league. Okay. He's 44 years old. He wears the Hammer and Hank, number, right? Well, I don't know that that's his number, but he's 44. That's how I was going to remember his age, right? So I'm a good friend with this guy, and he's he's still out there doing it. He's competing with people that are 10, 12, 15 years younger than him, right? And I said, what do you want me? I go, what do you? I said, what do you want me to ask Tita Green? I said, give me some technical pitching stuff, because I never threw the baseball, And he threw out 3 things. He said, were pitchers better back in the era you pitched or now? Do you value location or speed more? And could you tell them about arm maintenance on the days after you pitched?
So
you pick any. It's like a buffet, Tommy. You pick any one of those.
They're all
ones
3
you want to
great
hit.
questions, man.
That's because my man Jared Lenko knows how to ask them.
Well, what was the first one again? We're trying to hit a little bit of 3, and maybe I can incorporate. What was the first one?
First one was, were pitchers better back in your era or now? Value location or speed more, and the third was arm maintenance.
Let's start with there. Were they better back in the day? You got so many good athletes. Guys take so much better care of themselves, so to speak, now than they do. I think you got more guys that throw harder now than overall than it used to, but it's not that they threw any harder. You know what I mean? I think we had some guys back in the day that rushed it up there pretty good. But bottom line, it comes down to commanding what you do, the consistency of what you do. Can you locate in good areas? Yes, it's great to have power. Power in late movement allows you to not get squared up as often, especially the late movement part on it, the life on the ball. And that's a huge thing. So I incorporate, if you got both, man, it makes you, you got the possibility to be at the top of the game. It all depends on how consistent you are with it. But the location, be able to command what you do, enables you to pitch it if you throw 89 on up, 90 on up. It allows you to change speeds, and if you locate, you still have to change speeds, but it allows you to have a repertoire of pitches in different areas on the plate or around the plate, to make the umpires do their job and make the hitters have to make a judgment call on what to swing at. So if you're commanding what you do and staying out of the middle of the plate more, that's what made the Braves so great. If you look back in the day, that's their staff and their philosophy was, every time you got on the mound, we weren't sitting down the middle of the plate. We were sitting on the halves, letting your life of your ball, your movement of your ball take care of a lot of stuff, and as you got locked in, the plate sort of expanded. So, which you saw with Glavine and Maddox and all the time, they never sat down the middle of a plate.
Hall of Famer.
Schmaltz.
Alvarado, you got to dig a trench down the middle of the plate to get it. Hey, you're a hockey goalie back there trying to bring in Bernie Perrant trying to, okay, where's this going? Type thing. Now, he's an epitome of a thrower, but he's got great stuff.
Yeah.
So. But that's the way the game is now. It's about how hard can you throw it and let it rip and let the rest of it, if you strike them out, it's about to strike out. And if they hit it, hopefully you've got somebody to catch it. And right now, I'm hoping we've been playing a little bit better defensive late, but we got to catch it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's bottom line.
And then that arm maintenance was the third part. Yep.
Arm maintenance, and that's a huge thing. They've got so much specialized these days, for each individual, because everybody is different. You got to keep your range of motion. That's one thing that hurt me back in the day. They didn't check it as much as far as the internal rotation and stuff like that. You had all the external rotation you wanted, because that's where you get your velocity from. But the internal is what cost me my shoulder a little bit in my career. But you have to stay on top of you're stretching, but not overstretching, but also your cuff weights, the building thing. Now, what you got to remember during the course of the season, it's not about gaining strength or doing anything in the season for that. The end of season stuff is for maintenance. It's basically you're doing stuff to maintain what you have and working the muscle groups to keep them sort of together. Not one side, not the front side being more dominant than the back. So most pitchers they have to watch out the posterior of their shoulder to try to keep the strength up there and the flexibility. So there's a fine line you're walking, and trying to, give your arm a chance to recover too. It's not overdoing. So you're trying to find a mix that makes you rebound during starts, in between starts, and recover, but also maintaining your strength so you feel fresh and, being able to go into going out there to compete. So, everybody's different. And that's why today I think they got a leg up on a lot of us in that attribute. But still, as you see, no matter them trying to protect guys or not, and having a 13-man bullpen or whatever, you see still guys. You see seeing guys get hurt and the same injuries we had back in the day, and we had a 10-man staff. 5 starters, 5 relievers. So it is what it is. It's not a natural motion. You got a lot of guys that are max effort. They're max effort now. So, look at DeGrom. God bless him, man. What a great pitcher he is. But a guy that throws that hard, and he's a starter, so he's throwing more often. As far as a lot more pitches, pitch after pitch after pitch after pitch than a reliever is. So, a reliever gets up and down and stuff like that. But that time and time and time again, how does the arm hold up with that type of, force being applied. I mean, guys consistently throwing 100 miles an hour or more, consistently, So, I mean, it's just a different age now. I mean, they're talking about backing up rubbers and mounds, and
I saw
making
that in the Atlantic League. Yeah,
they're changing the fabric of the game, man. I mean, guys, what they're telling me, they want everything geared around offense. Yeah, I mean, and I don't get it. I mean, that's just me. I'm a pitcher.
Sure. And by the way, before I forget, the guy that authored all those questions, if you will, his name is Jared Lanko, and he pitches in the Wood Bat League here in Atlantic County. And he also pitched with this guy, Mike Adams, who I'm sure you've heard of, that Cinderella story where Adams was at the Baseball Performance Center and teaching kids how to throw harder. And now he's with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs throwing 98, 97, and, has like an ERA like 1.2 or something like that. I mean,
well, that's great, man. I mean, it is a Cinderella story. And so I wish my arm would have worked like that, but I was missing too many parts. There wasn't no way I was going to do that. That wasn't my issue.
Tommy, I don't know, man. I saw you this summer. You look like you're in great shape. You're still looking like you can pitch in the bigs.
Oh, we were at the fun house walking through the house of horrors, in the mirrors, smoking mirrors.
The circus mirror.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy, one last question before we let you go. So Pete kind of alluded to it. I just wanted to get your take on this.
Yeah.
Aaron Nola, he's pitching well in San Diego. He gets through 9 innings. He's got 2 outs in the 9th, and then he gives up a home run. What's that do to a pitcher mentally?
I mean, obviously, I've never been in that situation where, as far as getting into the 9th and gave up the home run.
I mean, he was pitching a gem.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so there's positives you can take out of it. If I'm not mistaken, didn't we end up winning that game?
No, they lost that game.
They lost it?
They lost that game.
Yeah, that was the one that
that was in extra innings, right?
And they lost in extra innings, and he faced his brother, too, at one point. Remember, it was Nola versus Nola, and his dad was in the stands,
Yeah, I got you. I mean, but still, the opportunity the manager gives you to complete the ball game. He was pitching so well. You can always question, why'd you put him back out there? Why not? Or, that's the nature of the beast. You have to sometimes tip your hat off to the guy hitting at the plate a little bit that he did it, but I know as a pitcher, I'm glad for the opportunity that my manager believes me I can complete this game. And and I don't see why he wouldn't have wanted to go out there, but about messing with his psyche on that, I don't think that. That's just the nature of the game. It's like giving up a home run any other time. It's like being a reliever. Yeah, that's gone now. You got to let that go and move forward. Because you can't go out there and pitch scared. If you're going out there trying to miss bats, right, you're going to be in trouble. You got to go out there. You got to go out there to throw quality pitches in the zones that you're looking at and where you want to throw it. That's the key to your work on the side. You're seeing yourself throw it where you want to throw it, so you have a better chance to repeat it during game situations. Because you got to let it happen during the games. You do your work in between.
Right. All right, Tommy. Listen, man, we got to run, but I always appreciate having you on and hearing your take on things. And boy, this summer went fast, didn't it? Down in Wildwood, Ocean City, Margate, it went too fast.
Summer always goes fast. I just wish the golf season would stay going. I don't like playing in the cold.
All right, Tommy. Listen, man, we really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll do it again soon.
You got it, Billy.
There he is. There's Tita Green. And I'll tell you what, just listening to Pete, hearing that call from Harry Callis, May 23rd, 1991, I'll never forget.
Me neither. No, that's a 20-year-old Peter Thompson at that point, and not that much older than me. There's Tommy Green out there doing what he did, and the fact that Harry called it, that's the gift that keeps on giving. And thank God for YouTube, because Tommy can call that up anytime he wants, and remember.
If Tommy's ever having a bad day, like he's depressed, he can just click that on.
And he said something about you do your work on the side. I was going to jump in and say, well, Tommy did his work for us right here. He was unbelievable. You do know, I love the guy to death, but you do know that if he ever writes a book, this is what I want him to title the book. Safe to Speak, My Life as a Baseball Player and Commentator by Tommy Green. Because the first time I was producing at Comcast Sportsnet and I heard him Safe to Speak, I was like, wait, what is that? What? It's sort of like Safe to Say mixes with, Speak Your Mind.
Well, it's from down south.
Right.
It's
Southern like
dialect.
Sure. It's Southern blend.
The second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, experience lively atmosphere in the pub. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson. You know, Pete, talking about the Phillies, they are hot right now. Albeit they're playing against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Hot for what? One game?
Well, the last 2 games.
Oh, that's right. Two games.
Let's face it, the Phillies notched their 10th walk-off win of the season the other night. That was fun.
They're hot right now. They barely win 7-6 in 11 innings on Friday night on a freaking miracle. Well, and then they finally do what they're supposed to do, which is beat the team the way you're supposed to, 7-0 last night, and you call them hot.
Well, what I meant to say, a couple of the players are hot.
Okay, all right. Sorry. I had to browbeat you a little bit on your...
that's fine. Odubel Herrera's hitting .316 with 4 doubles, 1 triple, 6 homers, 13 RBIs, 12 runs scored, with an OPS of 1,001 with 22 games this month. That's hot.
By the way, my teasing is all done out of love. The bigger stat is the one below it, where the Phillies are 14-0 when Herrera scores a run. So I'll put up, there's the good Odubel and the bad Odubel. The bad Odubel was the guy that didn't cut that ball off the other night, and it went by him to the gap, and he didn't take like the right angle, and it went by him all the way to the wall, and that basically started the floodgates opening. That's the bad Odubel. Also, the bad Odubel to me is the stupid one that doesn't realize there's multiple home run hats. But the good Odubel is the one that actually scores a run, because when he scores a run, the Phillies are 14-0. So it's like, I have like a love-hate relationship with Odubel. I have a love-hate relationship with this team.
Gene Segura became the 8th different Philly to hit at least 10 home runs.
Yeah, man. Segura was he had been struggling too, I think. So that's good that he could put one over the wall.
Now Wheeler, Nola, and Kyle Gibson is now 10-5. Listen. Kyle Gibson is a great pay. His ERA is 3.16.
Kyle Gibson was like one of the smarter ads that the Phillies did in the offseason. You know what I mean?
Nola. I think Nola's the key. And you know what's so funny? I hate to say I told you.
Don't forget, Eflin, it doesn't look like he's going to be back.
No. So listen. So I said in the beginning of this year,
I'll turn the police down.
That's why I love the police in the back. Yeah. I said in the beginning of this year, there's 2 guys to watch out for on this team that'll control this team, because you know what you're going to get out of Segura, you know what you're going to get out of Harper, you know what you're going to get out of McCutchen, but Nola and Rhys Hoskins are the 2 key players on this team, and
Nola is not 100%. Something's bothering him. I don't know. Right. And
he's
then
7-7
is now
with
done.
a 4.30 ERA, Pete.
Yeah, see, the problem with Nola is sometimes you get the good Nola, and that it's been like Jekyll or Hyde. You get the good guy, and you're like, oh yeah, there he is, but he can't string it together for multiple starts, and that's an issue to me. I look at this. I thought what Tommy Green told us was the biggest thing, Billy. He said they got to catch the baseball behind him. Remember, he's a former pitcher, right?
Right.
But you're gonna have bad days, but jeezy peasy, pudding and pie. Play defense and catch the ball. But see, the problem is the Phillies weren't constructed that way. No. Didi Gregorius, Gene Segura, whether he had Alec Boehm or whoever was at third base booting the ball around, thank God for Torreyes, right? But fundamentally, defensively, the Phillies are not good. And I think that and the fact that their bullpen was shaky and they don't really have a full starting rotation.
Look, and now they have 3 gaping holes. Are they going to be able to be competitive down the stretch with Brad Miller, with Torreyes, and with Janikowski playing?
I love Bamboo Brad. I love all 3 of those guys. Can they compete? Yes, they're not starters, but heck yeah, they can compete. So the problem is that they need to hit too.
Can they catch the Braves with this lineup?
Well, here's what you got. So you got Arizona today, then you go for 3 in Washington, and they've basically given away their season. Now they always have trouble playing in Miami. So Labor Day weekend, right, at Miami. They always, for whatever reason, now of course the Diamondbacks are the new Miami Marlins. The 3 in Milwaukee gives me pause on the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Then they're home with the Rockies for 4. Okay, they're home with the Cubs for 3. At the Mets, and then you got like Baltimore, Pittsburgh. The key series to me, if they can hang in it, the key series is September 28th, 9th, and 30th.
The Braves, right?
That's at the Braves, and just knowing the history and knowing the way things work, I feel like given this team, they're gonna like win 2 or maybe 3 or maybe even all 4 against the Pirates, and we're all going to be flying our Phillies flags and feeling great. And then they're going to go to Atlanta and they're going to bleep the bed. And then by the time they get to Miami for those 3 to close out the season, we're going to be like EAGLES.
And we're going to be doing that all season long. Where, Pete?
What's the name of the establishment?
Deauville Inn.
That's right. I'm throwing it right back at you.
Deauville Inn, baby.
You got to practice that more than me.
We're going to be doing our live Eagles broadcast, the Eagles pregame show, the locker room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, all the away games throughout the season.
I just figured it out. This is why you struggle, because you love the police so much that you keep thinking you want to go do da da da. It's the do.
By the way, I had
Ville.
I had chicken wings over there. I love their chicken wings.
I remember that.
I've had them 3 times, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
I love them.
Listen, outstanding wings. I'm not the seafood guy. You are, but like that first time we were together, what'd you get? Didn't you get oysters on a half shell or something like that, or clams casino?
I had shrimp.
You had something that was on ice.
You peeled shrimp.
Oh, that was it. You peeled it.
They got a great menu over there.
Heck yeah, they do.
All right. Second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. By the way, our golf tournament has been postponed.
And I turned my own mic off. Well, I figured you were starting your read.
I am.
Yeah, that was postponed. I'll take the hit for that one. I mean, some and school's coming, and we'll definitely do it.
We'll circle back to that.
Although September is the best month for playing golf.
We'll work it out. Got to get the Chief. Like Chief is his schedules. He called me the other day. Well, right 2 days. He gives me 3 days notices. I can't make it. I said, Chief, you can't do this to me.
We've been promoting this. Come on,
promoting this. You can't just call and say you can't do it.
Yeah, just like I can't go. sorry, school. I'm sick today.
I make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, experience lively atmosphere in the pub. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Hey, friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan or the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy being called a Maserati. Maserati, the main line, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience is not at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the main line, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the main line, at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson. You know, Pete, not only did the Deauville
we're instituting a fine system, $1 in the box for every time.
Not only did the Deauville Inn has great food and the TVs are great. You dock your boat there. My brother took his boat there yesterday. He said it was awesome.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. I mean, listen, the Deauville Inn is on an island, right? I mean, so at the end of an island, no less. So
they had a great time over there.
There's only so much surface area for parking, right? But hey, you want to park easy? Park your boat.
Take your boat over. All right. Hey, how about Trader Chuck? You know, I dabbed him.
Wait, before you do this, I got to give a quick acknowledgement on the live stream to Jeff Bone and Pookie. You know, have you heard Gil talk about Jeff Bone and Pookie? He's a regular on the StreamYard things. And he basically at 11:30, which is about, 8 minutes ago, must have been scrolling through his phone and said, hey, wait a second, there's Thompson and Schweiner doing some show. I'll watch. So thank you, Jeff Bone and Pookie, for commenting.
All right, so Pete, a couple of weeks ago, we had, the Flyers made some big moves and some trades. Aristolainen, Ellis, they brought in. Right, they brought in all these new Cam Atkinson, and then we said, well, let's get Chuck Fletcher on. We had Chuck Fletcher on. We call him Trader Chuck. I mean, not to be outdone by everything that's going on in this city with sports. The Flyers are making a lot of noise, and he continues to make noise.
So Trader Chuck's an apt name and an appropriate one because to me, I'm most impressed by the fact that he didn't sit on his hands, for those years when so Ruben Amaro makes a move, but we're bringing in Cliff Lee, but by the way, we're losing, or we're bringing in Roy Halladay, but by the way, we're losing Cliff Lee,
Right.
And when you call him Trader Chuck, you're probably stealing from Trader Jack. That was Jack McKeon, right?
Yes,
Or the other name, since you're a hockey guy and we're talking hockey, would be Keith the Thief, right? That was the guy that was one of the best GMs ever to just spot talent on other places and pluck them and bring them over. So the two things that are the new moves, and you're talking about Ristolainen and all the guys that they brought in, but
just recently,
the Derek Brassard move. Now, I know your colleague on Saturdays does not like this move, although I did not hear him give any
I don't think
full fleshed out reason why.
Yeah, he did. I don't think he's dead. No, I don't think he's not he doesn't not like it. He's just not in love with it, I think.
Well, what does he want?
I don't know. I think it's a great signing for the simple reason you got depth and experience. A guy that's played in over 117 NHL playoff games, right? If Morgan Frost doesn't work out, you got a fourth line center right there.
A 34-year-old NHLer for $825,000 as opposed to a young, can I make it in this league or not? Which one are you going to pick? Now, again, if physically that Brassard can't do what they need him to do, but I think it's an outstanding thing. And don't forget that Brassard has played under Coach Vigneault before. He's been under AV before. Also, don't forget that he was teammates with Kevin Hayes. He was teammates with Kevin Yandel. In Columbus, he was teammates with Cam Atkinson. Forget about it. That's all those things make sense for the Derek Brassard thing, but nothing, Billy, moved my needle more than seeing that Sean Couturier, or Coots, did the team a favor, in my opinion, and actually came out when he had his media availability and said, listen, I didn't want to break the bank. I didn't want to bank.
Well, $7.75 million is a nice chunk of change in the NHL.
It is, but and he gets some limited no trade move and some of those things come in. But I think that's a win-win. He's 28. The extension starts after next season, but that cap hit is
8-year contract. Didn't they learn by doing that for Voracek
but it's
Giroux?
But those contracts were long-term contracts that I would call unmanageable. In this case, I'd say that he kept the cap hit manageable. $7.75 million is not the Voracek 20.
I love Giroux. Couturier. I think he's a great player. I think he's going to probably be your next captain.
Why not?
After Giroux, after this year.
And that's the thing is they had two veteran players that they could have extended. They went with Couturier. Giroux is on the last year of his deal, and I probably think that G is, unless G comes to a reasoning and says, hey, listen, guys, I'll take, if he pulls a Coots move, right? This was his quote, by the way. You want to earn what you're worth, but at the same time, I want to win a Stanley Cup, a championship, Couturier said. I didn't want to break the bank or get all the money. I just wanted to secure myself for the next 8 or 9 years. I just wanted to make it a fair deal for both of us, and this is what we came down to. He also said it's another way to try and help the team. I'm really excited to be a part of this group for the upcoming year. So there you go.
That's refreshing. You don't usually hear players with that stance.
Discount?
Right? Are you kidding
You
me?
want me to give you a discount?
Every time I've been over at the practices, he's more than happy to talk with us. He makes himself available, and he's just a good guy.
He also remembers when he was in his first year in the league, he remembers that Carter and Richards signed big deals. And not long after they signed the big deals, where were they? Harry Callis.
Gone.
Out of here. So here's who's gone, by the way. Jake Voracek, Shane Gostisbehere, Phil Myers, Nolan Patrick, Robert Haig, and Brian Elliott, right?
Right.
Jake, Ghost, Myers, Patrick, Haig, Elliott. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys gone. And all the guys that are coming in, Ellis, Ristolainen, Yandel, Atkinson, Brassard, my brother from another mother, Nate Thompson, and goaltender Martin Jones. That's making some moves, bro.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? The best part about these guys most of them have worn letters on their jerseys.
So
they're leaders.
So what does that tell you?
They're
Bill?
leaders.
What? Yeah, they're leaders, and that they felt I almost called him Cliff Fletcher. Was he like the old Flames or Maple Leafs? Who was Cliff Fletcher? Chuck Fletcher recognized that there was a problem with the culture. He said it after the season was done. He said, we need to change our culture. What does that mean? You jerks are out of here. We're bringing some guys in that care.
And you know what? Listen, I liked Robert Haig, but one thing about Robert Haig, and we talked several times with, guy from the Athletic. I forget his name.
Charlie O'Connor.
Charlie O'Onnor.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Look,
Charlie
I can have my
O'Connor.
Cliff Fletcher. You can have your.
It's a senior moment. Charlie O'Connor. And every time he said Robert Haig would make the same mistakes over and over again.
Well, and the thing that Charlie does, do you read his work? Do you subscribe to it?
Well,
like the thing that the Athletic does better than anywhere else, and no disrespect to my guy Sam Carchidi, who we should mention, we were efforting to get Sam on today. We were efforting to get Charlie on today. The Flyers are starting their developmental camp today. So in this new world where it's all done on Zoom and you can't really be right up against somebody and whatnot, neither of those guys could actually commit to 20 minutes with us when they actually have to do, I'm sorry, their real job. But
this show was so floated with guests and stuff. Come on.
The big thing that Charlie puts in all his articles that they really break down the analytics and the stats. So if you're a stat guy, he'll have a stat for everything the guy does on the ice, whether you love that or hate that. I think they're very thorough on that. And then of course we're going to try to get Carchidi on. He retires in December,
Wow.
So I mean, usually
how about
instead of making that West Coast trip where the Flyers are out in, I think it's Seattle, then LA, then Anaheim, then Vegas or something like that. Instead of making that trip, Sam Carchidi's finally going to get back to Winona, New Jersey, and just put his feet up and say, "Yeah, baby, thanks for the memories."
And of course, the Inquirer and the Daily News. They have wholesale changes there.
Well, yeah, and new people coming. Who else? Frank Fitzpatrick left. Domowitch left,
that's
right. Paul Domowitch left.
I had him on a couple weeks ago.
A memory just came up.
He just did his last Eagles game.
I know you had him on a couple weeks ago.
But he just did his last Eagles practice.
And that last Eagles. No, he did his last Eagles game. The last Eagles game was that turkey, right?
Right.
Against the Patriots, where nobody played.
That's right.
Anyhow, I digress. Listen, have you met the new Flyers person, or do you even know who it is?
No.
That makes 2 of us, but I will figure that out.
Find it out. All right. First hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provide. Oh, excuse me. What am I doing?
Reading the wrong read. And it's the second hour of the locker room.
I shouldn't look at you like I'm looking at you with one eye.
It's my fault.
No, but you see what?
Arg, one eye.
By the way, you can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Arg. Go ahead, Billy. Read your script.
I can see you with one eye.
You're killing me.
All right. The second hour of the locker is powered by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay's award-winning private golf club, and you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to Ken at jerseymanmagazine.com or give him a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. You know what happened? I was looking at you with one eye, and I picked up the wrong read.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, listen, there's a lot of moving parts here. I mean, people think we just like turn these cans on and just go blah 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 blah.
I think we did pretty well on the fly today. When Gannon texted us at during the show and said he had to change his time.
Yeah, no, I thought that was awesome. We did it on the fly, and then we played Fly Eagles Fly. It works out just great.
All right, Pete. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. All right, Pete, we're back here, and I just want everybody to know that if you missed any of the interviews or any of the program, you can always catch my podcast of each show, The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, on all major podcast locations. If you missed any interview with any celebrity sports star, You can always go to my YouTube channel, The Locker Room with Billy Schweim. Check out my website, same name. It's all there. It's all posted. Usually I get it there at least a day or two after the interview. So
good interviews today with Rich Gannon and Tommy Green were our two interviews. And then you forgot to mention the big thing that people might have missed. If you missed our big announcement at the top of the show, we being Billy and me, are going to be at the what establishment again, Billy?
Deauville Inn.
The Deauville Inn for Eagles Road Sundays. It's not a roadie sody, it's a roadie Sunday.
It's going to be so much fun to watch the game there. They got a great staff. Of course, Chuck Thompson, your brother from another mother.
Yeah, man. Me and
Brian
Chuck.
Green, Sean's down there, JR, the whole cast.
Don't forget Barry. Don't forget Amber. Everybody down there. It's going to be a great time. In fact,
and I don't want to forget
let's see how good my producing is. I'm going to pull that down.
Ready for this, Pete? I also want you to tell us a little bit about. There's a lot of football being played here in Ocean City. A battle at the beach. The West Jersey football.
Sorry, I just brought this back in because can I have this underneath it while I talk about West Jersey football and the battle at the beach?
Yes.
All right, yeah. So you've been kind of following this casually, right? You understand, like, this is like the week 0 big kickoff for high school football. See how I use the word kickoff in there? And last night, well, they were a little weather delayed, but last night they were able to get in Bernards versus Penns Grove, Timber Creek versus Red Bank Catholic. That Union game versus Millville was like an offensive explosion. It was going back and forth. And then the nightcap that everybody was looking forward to, DeMatha out of Maryland, big DeMatha and Holy Spirit. I think it was 14-0 was down at the half. 14-0 is a win, and then things got away from him a little bit. But today, first and foremost, the schedule has been pushed back a little bit because of the weather. So according to the West Jersey Football League website, the games today are going to be 1:30, 4:30, and 7:30. So at 1:30, Cherry Hill East and Morristown. At 4:30, you have Cedar Creek and Scotch Plains. And then at 7:30 tonight, Woodbridge and Winslow. Your Collingswood team.
How did my alma mater do?
You don't even know? They played Marple Newtown.
And do you know the outcome of that game?
No, but I could find
because
it out.
I was out surfing with my daughter, Eliza Grace.
Is she a good surfer?
We were there, and we were right at 7th Street there. So, yeah, man, she stood up for the first time in her life. It was great.
Were you crying a little?
A little bit.
Yeah. See, do I know you or do I know you?
But the football game was right down. We could see it from the boardwalk. We watched a little bit of it, but we had to get going. All right, Pete. Can't wait for the football season to start. Every Sunday during away games, we'll be at the Deauville Inn. You, me, Ken Duddick, and want to thank Tommy Green and Rich Gannon today for being a part of the show. You can catch everything on my YouTube channel or my podcast, 8 locations. Check it out there, The Locker Room with Billy Schweim. Thanks for making the Locker Room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schwein. Of course, stay tuned for Mike Gill and the Sports Bash Monday through Friday right here on 97.
He's off tomorrow.
He's off tomorrow.
Yeah,
Josh Henning will be
still on
there.
vacation.
All right. I'll see you next week, everybody.
Thanks, Billy.